get this started up. We're making the lobby right now, trying to get both teams in. So we have Dread Pirates versus Luxorian Sun both from Div A playing tonight. Hold on. So yeah, they already got the bans down. So what we have are Dread Pirates, who banned out Dragonshire, and then Luxorian Sun, who banned out Cursed Hollow. And then our first map is going to be Volskaya Foundries, which was picked up by Dread Pirates. Alright. Let's see. I'm supposed to have a co-caster, but I'm wondering where he's at. Hey, there you are.
Yeah, I mean, I was just hovering over and waiting.
Well, I was in here for a bit.
Oh. Just, I guess the last time I checked, then I kind of tapped back into the screen to ask. So you must have done it like as soon as I did that.
Oh, alright, well, you're here now.
True. That is true.
Alright.
You're hearing any background noise or anything?
I'm not hearing anything background. I hope you're not either.
No.
Actually, hold on. There. Looks like that we're waiting on one more member from Luxorian Sun.
Yeah, because I don't think I'm on their team.
No, I think you're in the wrong spot.
But they might have a problem with the gold 3 being on their team.
I think they'll be fine. Alright. Looks like we're getting all set up. And there's my cat. Hi there. Oh man, the mystery continues. Alright. Alright, well, Ziltoid, how you been today?
I'm good.
And right when I try to
Wow, we're just jumping right in here. We didn't even get to our stats. Have you already started the stream?
Yeah, I've already started, so...
Well, you gotta let me know these things, man. How's it going?
It's been going good. I started before you got here, because I didn't know where you were.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So yeah, let's see what they, like, Dread Pirates plays a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah. And I saw on Luxorian Sun that I don't think they've played any hero twice so far.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. Like, they do have a couple 2 games for for Dread Pirates, but it's basically like Tehran, Hanzo, Diablo, Ariel, Vala, Tassadar, and Imperius. Everybody else is one and still pretty massive. So looking like they're going for the who can play the most heroes thing. And we have a Chen ban on the side of Luxorian Sun.
Yeah. I also saw that ABBA ban.
Yeah.
So
I can see ABBA. Volsky is one of those maps you can kind of like expect to get into like the late game. Like it can't end the game before like Protector 3, so you know you can kind of stall the game out a bit to get into that late game to be powerful. And then of course Zeratul is just a monster. I think I've played that hero more times this season than I can count.
All right. Well, yeah, I've definitely seen the power of a late game Zeratul.
So first pick, Junkrat. I don't know. Is that a comfort pick for Alex O'Tulan?
Not that I can recall. But it is something he has played before.
And is super powerful, even without the Eye of Horus, which of course just makes her more OP. Thrall's an interesting kind of early pickup. He's good on this map, but still kind of odd to see him so early. And then followed up with a Stukov Diablo pickup.
Yeah. Stukov is a bit scary on Littlebeck.
Right now, Stukov has the highest win rate of any healer in NGS. So that's pick rate. I think his win rate actually dropped a little bit lower. I think Toronto's gone up, so it's probably pretty contested, but still picked a lot, very strong, works in the hands of the right players. So Cho'Gall being banned, continuing the memes. Maiev, of course, very meta ban there. So
it's like we got memes versus meta right now.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit that way, but the draft itself for Luxorian Sun's not bad. Like it just seems like the bans are a little odd.
Yeah.
Sir Stiggle's on Li Ming. He's looking for the resets. Blaze is always a pretty powerful pick. Kind of dropped off a bit in the meta, I would say, overall, but still very powerful. So looks like we're going to see off-lane Junkrat, which is not bad into Blaze. You can just kind of like, Blaze can't really do anything to him. He can just sit back there and kind of clear it out and then go do other things. So
yeah, I wonder if that was the plan the entire time. Because while it's good against like I guess a Blaze, I don't think it's that great against a lot of the other ones that it could have been.
Yeah, so we either have a main tank Blaze or Taunt Varian, which I'm leaning towards the Taunt Varian with the sleep into Taunt into root into leaning damage.
Well,
anybody that gets caught to that's probably gonna die.
Does Bat Mary? Does he usually play offlaner or tank?
I think he's the offlaner.
Okay, so that's more than likely than a taunt variant.
Actually, no. Wait, maybe I don't know. Actually, I just realized. So Delurker is playing instead of Serenian. I can't remember if they got if he left before the season or whatever the case is. I haven't actually caught a lot of their games, so maybe that is an offlane, and then that's a tank Blaze. Either way, I guess we'll see how it kind of works out into it.
Yeah.
Everyone else seems to be on pretty standard roles. Slithering One tends to play a lot of the melee assassins. Stir Stiggles typically takes on the long range damage dealers. Medivh's really gonna fuck this up a little bit though with the
protects, yeah.
The protects. As long as Swipster's on point with that, it's gonna be a little difficult for them to secure like for sure kills. But with that said, Lux Sun does have a lot of squishies, so like it's not a lot of frontline for Li Ming to kind of have to maneuver around. So
yeah, but I think if
still
the
thinking the
Medivh's
kills
on point,
could come in. Yeah.
If the Medivh get on point with those protects and the portals, they might do just fine. Yeah, when it comes to how roles went out, if Junkrat is the solo laner, which looking at that team comp is probably the best one to do it, then it's not a role that I think Luxorian usually has him on. Usually it's Fatal Rampage who takes that off lane.
So that might be Zul'jin in the bot lane then. I mean, I prefer to have Zul'jin rotating because you kind of want to get stacks. But I mean, I guess you can kind of get a lot of stacks in the off lane too. You can just sit there and kind of turret on the Blazer variant or whoever happens to be down there.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So yeah,
We'll
I
see.
think you're right. I think Zul'jin might be their offlaner. Because where else did they get their wave clear? Like Junkrat is their major wave clear in this composition. Otherwise, they don't really have any.
Yeah. But from what I've done with my team on Medivh, you don't need a whole bunch of wave clear when you're just 4-man rotating. I think a Junkrat and Stukov and what they have there would definitely be fine just to clear one wave.
I'm just saying it wouldn't be very good wave clear if it was
Yeah.
Zul'jin instead of Junkrat. So I'm pretty sure we'll see Junkrat in the 4-man rotations. But once we get into the game, we'll have to see.
Oh yeah, man, these load times are killer. Oh, you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Oh, there it goes. All right. Well, if you want to start us off with the blue team.
On the blue side, Dread Pirates, we have Bat Mary on the Blaze, the Slithering One on the Thrall, Sir Stiggles on Li Ming, the Lurker on Varian, and to round it all off, we have the real Uni on Ana.
All right, and over here on the red team, we do have Luxorian Sun with Bay Straight, I assume is how that he wants to name it, on Diablo. Fatal Rampage on Zul'jin. Stukov played by Little Bex. Luxorian on Junkrat, and Medivh played by Swoopster. And it looks like they're just, yeah, they don't want to try and get picked off here in the mid lane, looks like. They're just going to their lanes.
Standard. Yeah, I mean, looks like Dread Pirates are kind of just hanging out by the wall. Batmary in the bot. We haven't seen anyone rotate down there, so they might lose a couple minions. It looks like they've lost one so far.
Yeah, okay.
But it is Zul'jin going to the bot lane, and he's only going to miss one minion, so who cares about that? No big deal. But as you said, the rest of it seems pretty standard. Not really any rotations coming up from either side.
Usually, rotations is something you want to do with Medivh, those portals giving you that just really increased rotate speed.
Looks like they missed one minion in the top lane too as well, so I'd like to see those rotations be a little faster, but still, not the end of the world.
Does show that they are, or they were up on XP, I think. Maybe they're just clearing the way a bit faster.
Yeah.
As for talents, I don't play a lot of these heroes, but I'm not seeing anything too out of place. Lion's Maw on Varian.
Headhunter's kind of interesting for Zul'jin. That's probably not something he'll be able to stack until later in the game, especially from being in the off lane, because he's not going to be rotating around for picks. We do see Neural Stimpack on the side of Blaze instead of the Self Cleanse or the Self Unstoppable. But yeah, outside of that, everything seems pretty standard. Nothing else is all that crazy. I'm pretty sure we're going to get Taunt Variant with Lion's Maw there, but it's kind of hard to say. Could also...
Yep, there it goes. Taunt Variant.
So he wants the extra self-healing on that instead of the overpower, which is perfectly fine. I think that's a perfectly fine adjustment.
All right, and it looks
we
like
do have Triumvirate on Ming, which is interesting.
Yeah, and we have the early camp pickup. Oh, are they going to grab the turret?
I mean, Dread Pirates had already gotten theirs. I do think that camp pickup from the side of Luxorian Sun was still a bit slow. But they do have a slight lead in experience because I think they've been kind of neglecting... Dread Pirate seems to be neglecting the top lane a little bit.
Oh, Zul'jin's caught out
on Rampage. Yep, looks like he's going to go down. He's going to get out. No, Cleanse protected, but I think...
Portal?
Oh my gosh. He gets out. The portal comes down. The Medivh is there, and Mr. Fatal Rampage leaves with his life. I think if there was Ana on that rotation, no way he gets out of that.
Yeah, but that was a really smart portal placement because that second portal was placed ahead of time.
Yeah.
That was.
So Varian kind of getting bullied by the Diablo. We've got some poke coming in from Li Ming. The race to 7 looks like it's pretty even, but Batmare is pretty low, so I think you're going to have to give up the first part of the shrine here to the side of Luxorian Sun, as they seem to have been able to get enough poke damage done. But it looks like they're just going to retreat, maybe soak a bit to 7, try to get a little bit ahead in the experience, and maybe grab up the support camp here. Junkrat, of course, is trying to match the experience soak, while they still kind of sit on the point.
Like you might not be able to make that out.
Yeah, you gotta watch that taunt. You know, I was perfectly fine with him getting the soak rotation, but trying to poke in there, trying to put his head in there, it just seemed a little kind of scary. So instead of Luxorian Sun getting the level 7 advantage, we instead have Dread Pirates getting the early one. Though they are on even talent here, we've got a taunt going down on Diablo. Diablo flips it into the silence, but in the end, it doesn't matter. 75% channeled on the shrine for the side of Luxorian Sun, and let's see how far Dread Pirates can go.
Looks like Junkrat just got back, so they're probably going to start moving in right about now.
Another taunt going in on the Ziltoid. I mean, they can't be split like that. I mean, they're just pulling the trigger as soon as they see anyone out there. And yeah, you're putting a lot onto your Medivh to get someone out of those situations. And if his reaction times aren't immediate, they're just going to be kills each time that happens.
Yep. And they're still trying to contest this point, it looks like.
Yep, Varian taking some damage, but he doesn't care. He just pops his protects and walks away. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be going to the side of Dread Pirates, unless we can get a really quick re-engage here with the... but here we got taunt going down, we got another Protect going down to sleep on top of the Diablo, but still, just the turrets trading out. Healing goes down, all the items are used. We'll have to see how this works out. We've got Slithering on, he gets knocked back into the towers. He's probably going to go down, that's going to be one kill. No, he gets out! Oh my god, he escaped it! And there we go! We still have a 99% channel on it. The turret is still firing on the point, and we got a tap from the side of Thrall, so we're going to see if we can get back in here and put them down.
Alright, Varian gets out.
Junkrat dies in the back there. I think Li Ming took him out. She's out of mana, but you know, Junkrat doesn't have a lot of health. If he gets caught out like that by the Li Ming burst, she can 1-0 him, or 100-0 him pretty fast. So we do have the Protector going to the side of Dread Pirates. They get it. They're pushing it. They've got it. The towers are going down.
Yeah, I do find it kind of interesting that they're healers in the Protector.
I mean, this is not that uncommon of a strategy. You've got pretty sustainable heroes out on the side, and Li Ming has her teleport so she can get out of damage. And the only one that has, the only two that have very low mobility kind of in this composition for the most part is actually Varian and Anna. So I think it's an okay. Plus, it amplifies your siege damage for the most part. So if they're not afraid of getting engaged upon by the enemy team in these situations, we have the Diablo going very low. This fort looks like it's actually going to be going down. Very good push and good use of the Protector in the early game. Levels are staying pretty easy, but with that trickle experience, they're probably going to win the race to 10. And Medivh has been split in the bottom lane, getting all the soak. Interesting choice, but seems to work out. You know, pretty safe. He can get out. He can get away.
All right.
We'll make adjustments accordingly.
Looks like they're rotating as 4 to go down to get their camp.
All the lanes are pretty pushed out, so it's kind of pointless to be, kind of in the lanes trying to get those soak. I mean, they should probably still grab that wave, but Blaze can get it pretty easy. I'm thinking they're actually going to ignore the wave, and they're coming over here for an invade. Diablo to scout it, but he kind of waits a little long to initiate on it, but we do have a stun, a silence, an APOC, and he doesn't get anything done except for the Tazdingo goes down.
Alright, so they grabbed turret and then immediately dropped it.
Yeah, very good play, and they do actually kill the Li Ming, so while it looks pretty good for the side of Dread Pirates on that invade, some pretty clever plays and some lucky rolls of the dice, I would say, managed to get both Fatal Rampage and Little Bex out of there in time where they could actually trade pretty aggressive Li Ming out for that.
Oh, Junkrat goes down to the taunt, looked like.
Man, I think that's the second time he's died to a taunt. He really has got to be a lot more careful about that Varian. I know he was standing by his tower, so He probably thought he was safe, but
You're
clearly
never
that
safe.
was not the case.
Yeah. And it looks like
So
they're just
no
gonna give him
items on.
yeah, that's just gonna give him a free camp.
Yep. Free clear on the top. Looks like they might be looking to aggress on this camp. I don't really see a point in this unless like you can guarantee you can actually kill. Okay, so they do decide to give up the idea. Maybe they were just hoping to catch somebody out in rotation. They're gonna keep doing this. Like no one is babysitting this bot wave, which is just a bunch of free experience. They're kind of thrown to the side of Luxorian Sun because, despite 4 kills, despite the objective, despite the trickle experience in the top, they're still only about a half of a level ahead. And I attribute that to quite a bit of missed soak on the side of Dread Pirates in a lot of these rotations.
Yeah. Alright, well, looks like Medivh is just kind of scouting them out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go check it out. I mean, you know,
Not
it's
much
cool,
you
I
can do.
guess, to know where they are.
Yeah.
Not much else you can really do on the map with Medivh at the moment. You don't really want to be sitting in the waves clearing it. Although, you know, they did miss a bit of this mid experience because of that kind of that scouting. I think you kind of assumed where they were on the map at that time. I don't think you really had to go out there. Yeah, so like we do have heroics look pretty standard on both sides of the map. Sundering, and we did get shield wall instead of the Warbringer. And bunker instead of combustion. I know that seems like that shouldn't be weird, but I've just been seeing lots of combustion lately. And it's full orb build, Glass Canyon Li Ming, so as long as you can stay at range and they get a taunt combo onto any of these squishies, they're just going to get annihilated unless that Medivh is super on point with the protect.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he's been too bad with them, but not too good with them either, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not in proximity, he can't help you, right? So, you know, he's really got to be near his team to make sure that none of those things, you know, none of those taunts net kills. So,
Yeah,
you have 56%. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there's nothing that they're going to really do to take this objective from him, I don't think. That's 3 items to none. And
Yeah, I mean, the only strategy they have here is to try to bait out some of these, but right
portal
off
in?
the bat, we get a taunt off of the portal in. APOC goes down, but base state is really, really low. But I think you're completely correct. They didn't bait any of those out. With Diablo that low, there's just really very hard for them to push in on this objective. So he's really got to heal up. They're really going to look to see if they can pick somebody out. They have to bait out some of these items, otherwise there's just no way they're going to get control of them.
alright, Diablo Portal's back in. Slept. Collapse on. Junkrat goes into follow. Biometer goes down.
So the folly of this particular engagement, outside of the item count being pretty bad in their position, looks like that, you know, my biggest issue I think I'm having with some of this is Diablo, the portals go down, and the only one that goes through it is Diablo. Because if you look at their composition, not a single one of them wants to go through the portal with them, because they're all very squishy and at-range heroes.
Yeah.
So it seems like these aggressive portals aren't really doing them any favors because they don't have anything to dive with the Diablo. He's just going in on his own. So as soon as he does that, he gets taunted, slept, rooted, and he can't actually do anything. And he just has to get a protection and then just leave out. And in that fight we saw, as soon as Diablo went in, Li Ming went around to the other side and started throwing and lobbing in a bunch of orbs, and the backline just went down super low. So easy keep pickup for the protector there. Nothing else really interesting happened. I know I talked through most of that. But there basically was just, hey, thanks, free keep. Not really much they can do about it. They just have to kind of poke at it at range. They are getting it down, and I guess that's a pretty good thing about their composition is they do have quite a bit of range poke. You know, it's sustained, bit slow damage, but still works out. So they got to keep and afford, and I'd say another pretty successful protector run for the side of Dread Pirate.
Yeah. Looks like Dread Pirates really knows how to use the protector. Looks like
Now,
they're gonna take... Yeah, you go.
So a lot of times they'll oh, there goes an APOC down. We're gonna see if the engagement, but the bunker immediately drops. So like he just couldn't get a hold on anybody there. I don't know if he got like cleansed out. Is there actually yeah, remove stuns from the target. So I actually think that a Ana heal went out right when Diablo went to grab him with the overpower, and that's why he didn't get the flip into the actual stun. But we got another flip going down on top of Thrall, but he gets out, just windwalkers away, just runs out of it, and he's like, what are you gonna do? So free camp for the side of Dread Pirates, and this is looking pretty dire for the side of Luxorian Sun.
Okay, Diablo's caught out. Is he gonna get a portal? Nope. Okay, but he is gonna get away. Tire goes down, gets on.
Man, base state is certainly getting low, and that Ana is just causing him all kinds of hell. Portal does eventually go out. They did keep him alive pretty well there. I'm pretty sure he's sitting at about 100 souls at the moment, so, you know.
Actually, he's only sitting at 33.
Oh, he's only at 33. Wow, I was surprised he took so little damage then, but it might have just been Ana clinking away at him the whole time there in that situation.
Yeah.
So I think he could have gone down there with maybe a little bit more focus fire from the side of the Dread Pirates, but I mean, as far as they're concerned, this is a free fort. It is even talent tiers. I do have to commend Luxorian Sun for keeping in the race when it comes down to the experience. You know, you don't want to be down, you know, 17 to 15 when the next objective comes up. So at least they're in it. They have an opportunity to get back into the game, but they really need to get that item economy up. And we have 3 turrets still on the side of Dread Pirates, and here they go in for the healing camp. So I'd really like to see them at least aggress this a bit, see if they can bait out some of those turrets. They got to get some items off of these guys.
2 take the portal now. 3. Sundering goes out, and everyone's getting low. Stukov comes down with a silence. Medivh doesn't get out.
Just seems like quite a bit of anti synergy, and Dread Pirates has all the answers for a lot of these engagements here. I mean, as soon as that went down, we saw a double sleep from Ana, followed up with a very quick sundering, and it pretty much just nixed the whole engagement. They blew up Zul'jin pretty much right off the bat, and Diablo wasn't far behind.
Yeah. But the only good news that came from that was the turret they baited out. Not worth it, but something.
Yeah, 1 turret for 4 deaths. Not quite the trade I was looking for. I did want the aggression, but it wasn't exactly what I had in mind when I was suggesting it. So looks like they're just gonna slow siege the mid here, see if they can get some more. I don't think they really need to keep here. They were just trying to see how much damage they can get done before Luxorian Sun was able to get back up. And yeah, it looks like they're gonna get the rotational advantage here in the bot lane. Well is already down on the side of Luxorian Sun, and the clock is taking 20 incoming here in about half a level. I don't think they can soak it, obviously, during this whole period of time, but they get another couple kills. It's not going to be very long before it's level 20 as well. So, Luxorian Sun really needs to make something happen here.
Now, whenever portal goes out onto the wingman, nope. Alright.
There goes APOC, there goes the Sundering as well, and it's just, Diablo is just perma-stunned. He can't move, he can't do anything in this whole match. Zul'jin's background is clinking away at the Blaze, and he just casually drops Bunker and walks away. So, not the engagement I was looking for from the side of Luxorian Sun, but as we've already said, I think they are compositionally kind of handicapped with this as their only true dive to get onto any of the targets in the background is Diablo. And you know, every single time he comes through the portal, he just gets slept and stunned.
Yikes.
There goes Medivh.
Yeah, I wonder if that portal was a misclick or if he just never even wanted to try to get out.
Yeah, it was a panic portal. Portal panic.
Completely
Whichever way you want to go with that.
Yeah. Completely understandable, really, but it's just sad to see something like that.
So, Protector going to the side of Dread Pirates yet again. And it looks like they're going to ignore the bot lane. They're just going to walk through mid. I think they're like, we're done with this game. It's over. We are going to end this right here and now. And I just can't blame them. They have all the items in the world. 3 turrets plus a Protector and a more than half-day fort. This is, I am thinking, going to be game unless we are, in fact, speaking of magicians, and Luxorian Sun is going to pull something out of the pocket right now. But I'm just failing to see what that could be at this time.
2 turrets are dropped.
Engagement going down from Diablo with the APOC. He gets a flip, he gets a stun, and nothing else happens. He just dies. Fatal Rampage trying to get some damage in. He pops Taz Dingo, see if he can trade out with the Li Ming. There goes the Riptire onto the Protector, but 2 deaths, 1 trade, dead keep, GG.
Yeah, that is a victory for the side of the Dread Pirates.
15-2 kills. Li Ming, the MVP of that match, at least as far as damage is concerned. But I really think that a lot of that engagement was completely handicapped by very, very good sleep darts from the real Uni, as well as fantastic follow-up stuns at post 10, and even prior to 10 from the two from both Thrall and Barry in there. And those bunkers were pretty well placed. They kind of, when you stack bunker on top of all of those things that were happening, it was just like, and now there's nothing that you can do.
Yeah, I really would have hoped to. I think that if they wanted to go with that comp, the way that the portal should have been were more defensive and just escapes instead of that try to engage. Because, like you said, everyone there was a bit squishy except for maybe Diablo. So if he had walked in or charged in and then had that portal to get back out, he might have survived just a bit better.
Yeah, it's all cool if you can kind of negate like some of the if you can negate all of the follow-up stuns. So like if he dropped portal and then took like the silence pool upgrade on Stukov, and as soon as portal went down and Diablo was through and the silence was up, it would have made it much more difficult for Dread Pirates to actually get those chain stuns onto Diablo, and I think he could have had much more happen in those types of situations. But also, yeah, not having double frontliner to kind of go in there to dive to eat some more of the stuns, or at least after Diablo has eaten the stuns, be able to get in there on one of those targets. I think really handicapped in this position. It was kind of easy mode for Dread Pirates to be like, well, here's one hero that we have to stun. Okay, we'll just do that.
Yeah. All right, and it does look like the next map we're going to is Battlefield of Eternity.
BOE. Who picked this map?
I'm pretty sure this one was picked up by Luxorian Sun.
Luxorian Sun. Alrighty then. So something that probably appeals more to them. Who had map pick last time? Actually, I didn't.
It was Dread Pirates.
Dread Pirates did pick Volskaya. Okay, so clearly something that they're feeling a little bit more comfortable on. They did go for map pick instead of first pick, so hoping to see something a little more tried and true in their strats here on the side of Luxorian Sun. And Dread Pirates, I think, just looking to repeat game 1.
Oh, yeah?
Easy wins are happy days, right?
Oh, I always like easy ones, but sometimes you can get them, sometimes you can't.
Alrighty then. So yeah, or build Li Ming coming in, doing the damage. She just wasn't really threatened. She can just kind of, and like I said, against that many like low health targets, it's pretty easy to get a lot of that damage in. Medivh wants to be dropping his protect onto the dive heroes in those types of in a lot of those types of compositions. But unless he was spending them on his backline, and in any instance where he wasn't, they were just getting picked off, especially with the taunt combo. So they really got to watch out for something like that. They need somebody else to give them some extra peel in the backline. They got to do something to protect their squishies if they're going to run something so heavy, kind of low health heroes.
And yeah, we're going to start up game number 2. So first ban is going to go to Dread Pirates.
The Dread Pirate Roberts. Waiting for players, probably me. The first ban. What shall it be? I hope they don't do anything to Mimi on the side of the bans for Luxorian Sun. Ziltoid being the first ban.
Yeah.
Expected. Chromie. I think this is a patch or two too early. She's not OP yet. How do you feel about the Chromie ban?
I feel
Dr.
like
Amy, my friend.
I didn't. Is that something that like they can play? Like
Yeah,
if
they can.
I'm like
for sure.
looking.
I've seen them do it.
You've seen them do it, okay?
I've scrimmed Dread Pirates and played against them before. So, like in Heroes Lounge Season 1 NA, we played against them. Not very well, mind you, but we did.
Alright.
And yeah, they do have a pocket strike with the Chromie. I just don't think it was on this map. I was pretty sure they like to run it on Dragonshire, so it seems a little odd. And the Decker Kane, again, these bands are a little odd to me. They're not really top meta heroes at the moment. Decker Kane has been pretty strong in a lot of situations. Toronto, of course, a comfort pick for the real Uni, and still a very powerful hero in the meta.
Hmm?
What are you going to pick?
This is always my favorite part about doing the draft, is just waiting.
This realm needs me.
Okay,
They
looks like
steal the leaving way. They're like, screw that orb build beaming. You don't get it, and we're taking Hanzo too.
Honor, redemption.
Alright.
So Hanzo Li Ming are classic pairing on this map. They're very strong. You definitely don't want to give it to the side of a team that has a Toronto either, because you'll just never win an objective. Hanzo did get nerfed, but still, does a lot of damage on the point. And there's the Varian Artanis again. Well, Artanis is new and good race, but Varian back on the lurker.
Alright, so now we know it's another taunt variant.
Yeah, for sure. And his taunts were very on point. He survived very well on a hero. I've been hearing a lot of people talking in the league about taunt variant being a bit undervalued, and I'm thinking some of these teams are starting to make a pretty good argument for it. Dahaka. Why ban the Dahaka? The Artanis is already picked up.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. That's extremely strange. I didn't see anything about Dread Pirates running something like 3 warriors.
No, never. That's definitely not something I've seen.
Especially on a map like this where race is just so important.
Yeah, I mean, Artanis Turan does a lot of race in the first place, but yeah, like it's not like there's multiple lanes, so it seems a little odd. The only reason I can think you'd do that is if you're like running a main tank Dahaka with a variant in like C Smash or something like that, but that seems super memey and not like a real draft. And the new Brack being banned out, super powerful warrior in the meta, even scarier than Diablo at times, so I'm not surprised that they take it out.
Oh, this is my jam!
Alright, Lucio, Arthas, that's actually a really good combo right there. The speed and slow everyone down.
Just like the last game, I like a lot of the individual heroes. Like I said, I wasn't too sold on the Zul'jin and stuff like that, but this draft is looking a lot better. Caters more to the map. Definitely seems like a strong amount of good heroes to have on this map. Leaning Hanzo, Arthas, of course, Lucio. Arthas Lucio gives you mobility that Arthas lacks, and it's always a pretty scary thing when you can't get away from Arthas.
Alright, and looks like they're going to get the Junkrat on the other side this time.
And they're just trading heroes here. But Thrall back with the Slithering one. Played a really good Thrall last match. Those Sunderings were on point. So as long as that continues to be the case, it's a pretty good counter to Lucio too as well. I mean, I guess you could do Earthquake, but I still feel like Lucio somewhat counters that with the speed, so I'm not entirely sure that's a good way to go. Editorial, I like it. I think it's a wonderful pickup. If well played, that thing can really cause the side of Dread Pirates some issues. So, predictions, suggestions. What do you think, Mr.
Well, I like this. So, I've been trying to run like something along the Arthas Lucio's myself. So, I think that since it was Battlefield Attorney was a pickup for Luxorian Sun, I think that's something they've been practicing, and I want to give it to them if only to go to Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want a Game 3? Well, neither one of these teams do, but, I guess depending, I mean, obviously we want Game 3 for the side of Luxorian Sun, but, points-wise, no one wants to go through this. Anyways, yeah, I think that this is I'm way more comfortable with this draft from Lux Sun, like way more comfortable with this draft from them. It makes sense. You can see the synergies, you can see the intent, you can see what they're trying to do with it. Unlike the last draft where I was seemed a bit disjointed. Don't agree with the bans, but I like the draft itself. On the side of Dread Pirates, though, this seems like tried and true. Clearly, they really like that Varian Thrall synergy. They really like to run those two together. And why not? I mean, you got a lot of sustain, you got a lot of follow up, you've got a lot of damage that you can do to a squishy target in a short period of time, and could still be even threatening to some of these frontline heroes. You know, Tyrael doesn't have a huge health bar, so if he gets locked down
Yeah.
for too long, you can blow him up.
Alright, and let's start off with the blue flame again.
The blue side, Dread Pirates. We have the slithering one on the Thrall yet again. The real Uni on the Tyrande. We have the Lurker on Varian yet again, making his second showing. Sir Stiggles on the Junkrat, and of course, Batmary on the Artemis.
Alright. And on the team of Luxorian Sun, we do have Arthas played by Bay Straight. We have Hanzo played by Swoopster. Li Ming played by Luxorian. Tyrael played by Fatal Rampage. And Little Bex playing Lucio.
Alrighty, we just have a basic kind of little bit of poking and smoking here in the beginning of the start of the map in the bot lane. And, as you can expect, nothing interesting has quite happened yet. Nobody rushing to the mid and feeding right away, so that's a good sign. Just poking. I mean, Dread Pirates don't really want to get too aggressive until 4, so I feel like they're just going to play near their wall and let Junkrat just kind of throw bombs into the center for a while here. Double root from the side of Thrall, and then a reverse root from the side of Arthas. Just the roots going down. Root.
And it's damage that can't be healed up, so...
oh, I was waiting for that. I was waiting for it. I was like, he's about to step on that mine. Boom. Oh, there he goes.
So that's a great pick for side of Dread Pirates.
Yeah, I feel like Luxon was just kind of giving them exactly what they wanted to give them there. They probably should have scouted that bush a little earlier than that, and it cost them a kill. How's the trade in the top going?
Seems to be going pretty well. Both targets are full health.
Yeah, Artanis Tyrael battles are a little interesting to me because they've both got shields and they both have auto attacks that hurt. So it's like, I feel like the mana economy should go to the side of Artanis, but both are a bit mana hungry too as well. So like, they're just gonna dance. They're literally just going to dance at each other.
Dance and taunt. There you go.
All right. I want in on this party.
I wish my lanes were like that.
Exactly. So, again, nothing too interesting. We got a slight experience lead because of that kill for the side of Dread Pirates. No one is ballsy enough to go for this camp here. Sad face. Nice root from Arthas, some good follow-up damage from Luxorian. And that's pretty much all she wrote about that. Although this bomb could become another problem. Oh, he got it right behind him, but didn't quite get it off. Taunt goes down onto the Arthas. He gets rooted, he gets done, he gets poked, but a lot of return damage coming back on the side of onto real Uni. So it's just not anything.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
This laning period is just a bit of nothing. Whole bit of nothing.
Dread Pirates doing the appropriate rotation here. They knew they could get it burned down. Now they're going to be a little bit late to the objective though. And with the burn on the side of Lux Sun, that's a little scary. So I'd like to see that rotation from actually both teams a lot sooner. So they're going to give up a good portion of this beginning health bar on this Immortal here.
Looks like they're just going to have all 5 come down to defend it.
Yeah. Luxorian needs to be a little bit, careful about those variant engages for sure. They can just sit back here and kind of poke in because they have the advantage when it comes down to the positioning, both on being on the bottom, but we get a root and a stun and taunt going down to the Arthas, but he just tanks through it. He doesn't care. Shields from Tyrael helping out a lot in those types of situations. He is very low though, so it might be wise of them to kind of maybe back off a little bit of this, get somebody clear out that bot lane, and then kind of poke in this because they can still get halftime with 4 members here, but Tyrael gets stunned, rooted, and taunted, but still doesn't quite die.
He just barely gets out of there. And meanwhile, we just have Artanis racing by himself.
Yep, just casually attacking the Mortal and taking it down to almost the exact same level. They're only about 1,000 hit points away, 1,500. But we do get the halftime show initiated by the side of Luxorian Sun. I think a lot of these kills on these frontliners aren't happening because they just don't have quite follow-up damage to quite do it yet. I don't like how low Arthas is on damage, but it looks like they're just going to trade out anyways. And I feel like this trade is going to go to the side of Lux Sun.
Yeah. Arthas is probably gonna want him back here. Oh,
Yeah. And he went and grabbed the orbs. I guess he figures that's good enough. I wouldn't, but hey,
yeah, that's...
I'm not Bay State.
Bay State goes in.
Fails a route, looks for a flank, gets Junkrat mined, and that's all she wrote. I don't think they can expect to get a whole lot off of this. The poke potential from the side of Dread Pirates isn't amazing, but it's good enough to deal with an early mortal. They might get an early wall, and that's pretty much all I would look for if I was the side of Luxorian in this particular instance. They might get the fountain to go down, though. And they do.
That's a pretty successful first Immortal.
Yeah, you're right. They got a lot more out of that than I kind of expected. Half health on the fort, not bad.
And then level 7 just came online for both teams.
Oh no, Lucio dead. Gotta watch that. They didn't learn their lesson from game 1.
And it looks like they're gonna try and get this camp here.
Yeah, Delurker's just been finding all of those stuns, man. He's like, here's a taunt, here's a taunt, here's another one.
He's been well on point. His team is doing great follow-up on that.
So they get a free camp off the kill, which is about as best as you can expect in the early game for early game advantages off kills. And let's see if they can get some siege damage done with it. I don't exactly see this as the absolute best siege comp, but it's not bad. Definitely has some elements.
Looks like they're just gonna
get a wall. Yeah, a gate. Yeah, not even a wall. Probably just a gate. Ooh, that could have overextended there a little bit. But Arthas doesn't care. He's like, you can't kill me.
Oh. Arthas is gonna have trouble getting out of there. Looks like Lucio's just gonna speed boost him out.
So the Kings of Azeroth trade out, and unfortunately, I think Varian wins that one.
Oh yeah.
He always wins.
And it does look
Except
like they aren't gonna get to their bruiser camp in time.
The late start on the side of them last time is exactly what put them behind on being able to get their bruiser camp this round. But it looks like Luxion's actually gonna get there, so that's good. Tannis getting an early burn, but we got some good poke damage coming in, but Tyrael getting taunted. So that kind of got messed up there. I didn't see, was that, how did that get this? It seemed like he got a little bit knocked away there.
Not quite sure. Looks like Tyrael's still getting pretty low. Boombox was dropped.
Arthas is in big trouble. He's getting slowed, rooted, and almost killed, but there goes the Varian. Thrall is very low, and it looks like this fight is going to the side of Luxorian Sun, though they had to give up half health on the Immortal to do it.
Yep,
so hopefully the Death Hiners still give them enough time to be able to get some extra damage here. We got half health Arthas, almost no mana Li Ming, but Hanzo should be able to actually burn a good portion of this off before Dread Pirates is able to actually re-engage. They were fishing for a flank. Very good boombox, but the swap comes in and Arthas is on the island. I don't think he's going to survive this, and there he goes. Well, if you're going to draft Arthas and Lucio, they probably shouldn't be split apart. Just didn't quite see the flank coming in time and got himself into a bad position there. So this is definitely going to be going to the side. Yeah, they both get 10s, but Dread Pirates takes the objective.
I'm actually curious what Tyrael's gonna pick. Is he thinking that he wants to do Sanctification, or?
I mean, I would. I think Sanct is OP, but I think you could maybe make some arguments here for the Judgment. I just don't think you need it when you have Dragon's Arrow in this particular instance.
Oh, well, there it is, Judgment.
Yep, he finds the right target. He gets on top of it, and that's a dead Junkrat. They kind of committed to killing that Arthas, and I found, like, on this composition, they're still going to have kind of struggle to do that, as Thrall isn't going to be able to burn Arthas through his slows that well, and Junkrat's damage really doesn't come online until level 16. And even then, it's mostly just sustained damage for the most part, which Arthas tends to deal with pretty well. So, pretty good bait, and that holding that judgment pick up to the last second to be able to get that in on the Junkrat really took them out of, Tyrael. Yeah, it took, definitely took them by surprise.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just immediately went down and saw that Tyrael was in a bit of a bind. Looks like he survived though.
It's alright. I run on top. Just talk over me. It's alright. I'll shut up. They get the camp, easy camp on the bot. They can probably push in on this fort a bit with everyone being on the top, so it looks like we might be looking at a fort trade. I don't like fort trades too much, but it makes sense. It's a big map. You're already overcommitted to one side of the map. But Junkrat's doing a pretty good job of zoning them out from actually putting damage on this fort, so it might not even be a trade.
They gotta hurry and take the fort now.
Yeah, they're about to get flanked. They gotta be careful. But Lucio speed, so they might be able to get out of here pretty quickly. They just better not forget Arthas again.
Nope, looks like Arthas is left out.
Oh no, Lucio! He's the one that gets flanked, and that's never good. The only way you get out of there in that type of situation, they were too slow on taking the fort, because, again, Hanzo leaving siege on forts themselves isn't good. Like, it's not bad at killing an immortal, but it's not great at putting down forts. So, not all that surprising that that kind of turned it, and that's probably why that fort trade just really wasn't in the favor of Luxon.
Alright, does look like Dread Pirates is gonna invade here and take that at camp.
I mean, you kill somebody, you get a prize, right? But we're getting more of a full fight here. We get Sound Barrier going down. We got all the ults being dropped, but it looks like it's Tyrael that's going to drop first. Riptire going down to see if they can secure more kills. And it does, with Hanzo being rooted by the Thrall on the back end there. That's a 2-for-0 trade with all ults being dropped. Not a good position for Luxorian Sun to be in.
Yeah, Luxorian Sun probably should have just given him that camp. They were down a talent tier and a member. It's kind of...
Yep, and then a really good swap for the Artanis. It secures another kill on the Artanis. So things just getting going from bad to worse for the side of Luxorian Sun.
Yeah.
Good.
Alright, so halftime does go in favor of Dread Pirates. Looks like they're just gonna...
here with Arthas coming up in about 2 seconds.
It looks like they're just gonna grab their camp here before they continue to burn down the Immortal.
I mean, when you have all the options.
Oh yeah.
So looking to commit to a bit more of a poke, which is perfect. That's what Junkrat likes to do. We got a full defense on the side of Luxorian Sun, but this is exactly what Dread Pirates wants, and Arthas goes right into a bush. He's going to get poked at, taunted, but again, Arthas is one of those targets that's kind of hard to bring down, but they
Sunder goes down.
Get hit with a massive Sunder.
Tyrael is so low. He's going to get out, though, with the Lucio speed.
That movement speed, it got him out. But at what cost? Arthas being killed again. They actually had to dodge after when they came to that bush. Then the rings went up from the side of the blue immortal, and it caused them to kind of move to the side there. Which, when the Sun Ring went down, it knocked them into the stun anyways. They just took double the amount of damage, and that's kind of what caused Arthas to die in that type of situation. Very heads up sundering from the Slithering one there. He's been on point with that ultimate in both these games.
Kind of feel like if you wanted to get some bans off, that Thrall would have been a nice one.
Yeah, it seems to be quite scary in this particular, in both of these games. But full health immortal, 16's about to come up. This could theoretically be the end of the game. I'm actually quite scared for Luxorian Sun here. They've got to be able to put a lot of damage onto this mortal, but it's just going to take so long. Keep, I'm 100% sure is dead. There's no way it's not going to die here. But, you know, if they lose anyone on this core push, or, you know, push, it's going to be core push and they're going to lose.
Does look out. Hanzo gets taunted into a Tyrande stun. Lucio just barely saves him with Sound Barrier.
Very heads up play from the Lucio. Definitely saved them. Great Dragon's Arrow on 3 of them. We do potentially get a kill, but he gets out. There goes the trait value from the Serial trying to finish off the kill. They do manage to push them off, maybe long enough to burn out this Immortal, but things are still looking very dire for the side of Luxorian Sun. With the death on the Serial, those taunt plus follow-ups from the...
Li Ming goes out, gets Tyrande, and maybe Variant? No. I wanted the Variant.
Tyrande, but unfortunately overextends, gets taunted, gets rooted, gets blown up, and that's the end of the game.
Yeah.
Well played, GG.
GG's on the side of Dread Pirates for that 2-0 domination.
So both games, I feel like Dread Pirates got exactly what they wanted in the draft. It was very similar actually in both games. They didn't really bounce all that much different except for the Junkrat. So they played a little bit slower, but they didn't really care because the Variant Taunt, Throw Root plus Tyrande Stun follow-up was enough to delete a lot of those heroes. And while in the early game they failed to kill things like Arthas and Tyrande, as soon as it starts getting into 10, 13, 16, it became a lot harder for them to actually survive through those combos, especially with the follow-up Thunderings, which were just all on point, 100% that game.
And I'm gonna see if I can get someone from the side of Dread Pirates in for an interview.
Of course.
See how they feel about that 2-0 victory.
So I did like the draft from the side of Luxorian Sun a lot better than in game 2 than game 1. And I feel like they still had plenty of opportunities to win that game. But I do feel like they just made some macro calls, like the fort trade, as well as kind of some desperate calls, like running in onto the enemy team's objective, kind of down, not in a good position, not in any situation where they could actually get. They needed to poke out. They didn't need to dive in, and a lot of those kind of desperate plays cost them a bit in that game.
All right, does look like we are gonna get the real Uni to come in for us.
Oh, of course, fantastic.
Hold on.
Don't we have to move to a lobby?
Yeah, let's move to the lobby. Alright, well, we're here. Waiting on him. But yeah, I really did, I kind of felt like... Oh, well, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Oh, we're doing pretty good, I think. So how you guys feeling after that domination?
Sorry?
How are you guys feeling after that domination?
Pretty good. Pretty good. We've been looking forward to playing Luxorian Sundown since Heroes Lounge, so this was really fun.
Oh. So you guys have played them before?
No, so we made it to the playoffs. They were going to be the team that we're going to face next, but in the finals, but we didn't make it to the finals, so we've been kind of really looking forward to playing them because they're a great team.
I mean, after that game, or those 2 sets of games, I mean, I think we already know what would have happened in that matchup, right?
I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll see if we face them again.
Wow.
So you guys felt pretty comfortable with that with both those drafts, looking like a lot of synergy with the Variant and Thrall, with the taunt plus root, and then of course in the second game you had some really good Tyrande follow-up stuns. Tell us a little bit more about those types of pick comps. Like I've seen you guys play them before. It looks really polished. Like how you feeling with kind of the new pickup with the Lurker there and kind of the dynamic of the team and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we had recently like a roster change, and Steve is our new tank, and we've kind of really been practicing kind of follow-up and being in sync together, and that's just something that we've been working on. So sometimes, it really works out well, and that was tonight. So
yeah, we could tell. It was really great with all the follow-up that followed, either the Tyrande stun or any of that.
Yeah, and it's really fun when it works out.
I apologize for my cat. I don't know if you guys heard that. She did not what happened.
I'm sorry?
Nothing. Just my cat getting upset.
In game 1, how'd you guys feel about their draft kind of with the Mindy portals? Like, it seemed like every single time they cast one, Diablo would go in, but he'd be by himself. So you guys are just kind of like
Yeah.
rich stun kill, and that was pretty much the end of the aggression. While
Yeah,
leaving just shelled their backline.
yeah, we were initially worried about the portals because we expected their entire team to just kind of port in the middle of us. But we like after a little while, it just we kind of navigated it really well, and then we weren't really worried about it as much anymore.
Actually looked like you guys were just waiting for the portals at some points.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. That was as soon as we saw Medivh, it was like, all right, watch out for the portals.
Alrighty, well, I mean, it was a very strong 2-0 matchup, and I'm hoping to see more. I know you guys have been a little bit up and down in this season, and probably a bit to do with the roster change and stuff like that, and the fact that Div A has some pretty decent teams in it. How you feeling going into the next matches, and where do you guys think you can place? Like, I picked you guys to be one of the top teams in this division, and I'm hoping you guys can live up to that and not make me look so bad in my predictions on Nexus Edge. So if you could kind of fill me in on kind of how the team is feeling going into the next matches and your kind of playoff seeding and things like that.
So honestly, that's what we talked about this. We're happy we're in Division A because it feels more kind of our speed. But we don't really know most of the teams. We know a few, and we scrimmed against them or I played against them, and so we have somewhat of an idea. But for some teams, it's just completely a blank slate. So we're excited, but we really don't know how it's going to go with some of the teams that we're up against.
Very conservative answer.
It's a very honest one.
I need some spice. I need some. We're just gonna toe everyone else from here on out.
We're gonna crush everybody.
There we go. That's what I was looking for.
It's always good to be confident about your victories.
Yeah, but it's been really fun so far. So
looks like it.
That's what we're looking for.
All right. Well, I think that's all that we have for you. Any shout-outs you want to do?
Yes. Shout out to Not Paradox for coaching us, and shout out to all our friends who are watching us. Well, thanks a lot for casting us.
Of course.
Yeah, no problem.
Bye, guys.
All right. Yeah.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. All right then. So, yeah, I think that it was pretty convincing. I didn't actually know that they were coached by Not Paradox.
I knew, but that's just because we know that team pretty well, so not all that surprising. But yeah, great coach, and they've got a good attitude, good teams. They really like to compete, and we saw that today. And that when you have that type of work ethic, it's going to pay off in games for sure, consistently. So.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that just about does it. Thank you for casting with me. I kind of felt like I was the backseat. But yeah, I'm gonna take.
Sorry about that. I don't mean to overshadow or anything like that. I have a bit of experience casting with B-Train, and I think that might color things because we both talk quite a bit at a very high speed, so it might have just kind of gotten a little bit in the way. But if you're ever looking to do so again, just let me know, man. If I'm available, I will definitely hit you up.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming in and kind of showing me how to cast, and I felt like this was a learning experience for myself as well. All right. But yeah, I hope you have a good one, man.
Yeah, you too. Good night.
Good night.